Alright, so
welcome to T&G.
I am Richard for the T.
And I'm Elsa for the G.
And today we are gonna just talk some mess.
Let's go. It's about time we do.
Yes. Well, first off, let me ask you, how was your Mother's Day weekend?
My Mother's Day weekend was pretty good. I spent some time with my family and a little bit of time with my son. And after that, I had to deal with a man that wants to act like he's the prize. Like a lot of men are doing. I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of them are doing that.
Oh, the ones you call ballerinas.
Yes, I called them ballerina man. Sorry, my ESL.
So if you guys don't know what ballerina men mean, what she's trying to say, instead of using a cuss word, she's instead of saying they're acting like bees, she's just being nice and saying ballerina.
Definitely. They're the females of this new era. There's nothing wrong with that. That men want to feel like the prices, but there should be a limit to it.
I think we're getting into a good subject there. Maybe before we get to that, let me lighten up a little bit.
Let's go.
Unlike her weekend, mine was pretty good.
Oh yeah, how was your Mother's weekend? Sorry.
My weekend was good. So what did I do? We had quite a bit of shoots happening today. Well, not today. Happening during the week at the studio. We have a lot of upcoming things. In case you guys don't know, we are filming at Ivy Studios, where me and my brother
Bravo.
here in Glendale, California. Yes. So we have some different things coming up. Actually, yeah.
So there's a lot of projects on the way right now. Right?
There is, and then Mother's Day for my mom was good. We actually went to go see the Michael Jackson movie.
Oh, how was that?
It was really good. The only thing, it was really good. Honestly, it was really good. I think, because I've heard different criticisms about the movie, and I think the criticism is, I think people were expecting to see something different or more, like, it's kind of like they remade the movies that came out, the Jackson Dynasty movie that came out like in the 1990s.
I see.
Yeah, and so I think we thought we were going to get that plus more, probably that led up to at least maybe his passing or something like that. But we didn't really get that. And I even asked my mom, like, do you think there'll be like a part 2 or something, So who knows? But it was good overall. My mom felt like it was like a concert because she lived in that era. She's seen him alive before during that time period in his heyday.
Nice.
And then it was just nice for me watching it again now as an adult, kind of getting re-inspired, about, pursuing different things and just setting forth and, doing like what we've been doing. Just going after our goals and just doing things. So, yeah.
Going for that dream.
Exactly. So, now back to the mess. So speaking of that, because I get your point, what you're saying, because I think as a whole, in general, we come from an era as millennials, and when we say millennials, I know sometimes the older people, they refer to millennials like people who are in their 40s and younger, but they forget that there's a cutoff, probably like about like 20, like I'm gonna say like 28 is probably when the cutoff is millennial. I don't know, something like that, 28,
29,
something like that. 29. And then it's the generation after us that's different.
Yeah.
And so, but like to that point, I could get your frustration when it comes to the dating, because it was different than what we have currently now.
Yes.
Yeah, like.
Well, a lot of people forgot about like just basic social skills. And back in the days, actually a man or even a woman, doesn't really matter on the sexes at this point, actually had to try to even get that number. And them putting that work made it more satisfying when they spoke to the person. It's like, oh my God, I got her number, I got his number, I could actually talk to her. Nowadays, social media, dating sites, it just makes it more easier where people are just becoming, I'm sorry, this is just my opinion, becoming more lazy on putting that work. And then it's not just men. I could also see it with women, but however, if we're really basing it on that, when it comes to men, it's like a lot of men feel like they're the ones that should be getting the prizes. They're the ones that the women have to go and get them. Like, I'm sorry, but
you talk about these new men.
This new man. But even the men in our generation, when they get out of that marriage or that long-term relationship, they start developing that new era kind of mentality. And then us women or men that are more in the whole, like, what do you call this? More of the traditional form, if you can say that. They're sitting there, it's like, wait, I'm either wife material, husband material. Why am I getting treated like this when I know what I bring, I know what I have, I know how I can upgrade your life in some way or the other. It doesn't have to necessarily be finance. Once again, it could be emotionally, it could be physically, it could be any sort of things, and yet they're getting treated like they're this little trashy or option that they could just get rid of, and that is not right either.
That's true. I would say because, for me, I've always said, like, when people ask, about dating in general, it has changed. And, like, yes, like, I understand the benefits of social media and some of the apps, the dating apps that are out there. I get it. It makes it easier, probably for people who, it probably was developed for people who probably have social anxiety and things like that. I'm assuming, I don't know. But I'm assuming it was just easier to find somebody in your area. But, like, it does, like you said, I think it takes away the interpersonal aspect of it. Because even, like, nowadays, a lot of relationships, they're based on a lot of, like, text messages. And I'm like, disclosure, I've been dealing with some people before in recent years, let me just say. Recent years. And, one of the issues that I try to let people know is that, like, texting is kind of cool, but I like to talk on the phone. I want to hear your voice because I want to hear, it's one thing to text, but you can miscommunicate a text message, like the way okay is being said. You can say it different ways, but if I hear how you're saying it, I'm like, oh, okay, they get it, like, they understand what I'm saying, or they're not confused, or like there's no hesitation. Like, I know where they're going. I know I know kind of like I can get a vibe. Because text message is like you already know one of my pet peeves that I hate, the word K. So
yes, just putting the K instead of putting the OK. And I understand that. Like, you made an example a few weeks ago where, like, when you text good morning, for another person it just sounds good morning. But me knowing you and being around you in person, I understand that you're saying good morning. And other people that don't really know you, they will think like, oh, why is she being so cold? Why is she being so like no? But in reality, if they would just see behind the phone or behind that text and actually got to see me in person, they will understand the kind of character that I bring into that text. But a lot of people that don't even give that time of day to people to actually get to know them face to face, those texts get miscommunicated.
That's true. It's a funny thing that you said that, because I think I saw a meme recently, and I think we even sent it to each other, and it made me laugh because, like, even when you text me, I can hear your voice.
Yes. And vice versa. It's funny because I know when he's texting, I'm like, okay, he either has some chips, some food in his mouth, something in his hand that he's eating while texting and laughing. So that's all developed because I got to spend time with him in person. And like you said, going back to the topic, it's like social media, online dating, like myself being a person who is in the corporate world, who is working a lot of hours and doesn't really have time for dating life or anything like that, and especially because I'm a single mother, I don't have time to go out there and mingle and talk to people, So social media does come into play, like, dating sites. But the thing is, that should just be a tool to help us connect to someone, not make it into our disability.
Yes.
where we're like depending on that, and due to that we're just gonna text. No, then what's the point of you even going to social media? Yes, a lot of people say, oh, because other people have other motives. A lot of people don't want that, relationship. They just want to date around, or just kind of like just have fun. But the thing is, like, when the person is being very frank, like, look, I'm looking for this and that. Now, this is a topic that might cause some, controversial kind of thing. It's like, okay, I hate to use this word, but I have to. It's like a real player will tell you in your face, well, you're looking for a relationship? I'm not. I'm looking to have fun. You either take it or leave it. They're very straightforward, bold, and straight to the point. And that's up to you to decide if you want to keep entertaining that or not. But someone that is acting like he's a ladies' man or a woman's man, and they can't be frank about it, then you just...
Well, that's the thing too. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a player, because
that's just
because I will, like, for example, myself, I even when it comes to casual dating, like, I'll be upfront, like, I'm just looking for a friendship right now. And I'll tell you, like, this is what I'm looking for. Maybe because right now I don't have time to really date to commit to a relationship, or I don't feel like being emotionally open right now. I don't know, like, whatever it is. But to that point, what I have noticed is that even though, like, maybe, I don't know if you dealt with this too, but I know that even sometimes, and I see it across the, how can I say it? Like, I hear it from different people around me at different times that, they end up being in these situationships and they don't know how they got in them. But it's like, well, did you guys both communicate that this is what you both were looking for? Because I know a lot of times, even on dating apps and stuff, they will say, oh, I'm just looking for friends. I'm like, okay, but, like, what are you looking to lead that friendship into? Because friend is one thing, but then, like, when you ask more questions, like, no, you're looking for a relationship, you just don't want to be rejected. That's really what it is.
It's more of a cope mechanism. That's what they're doing. It's like, okay, like you said, going to your point, it's like they don't want to get rejected, so the safe way or route is to, I'm just looking for a friendship. But then that's when you get yourself in a friends with benefits situationship, or just in a complicated relationship. And at that point, it's like we can't blame either side.
Right.
At this point, is whoever is the one that is deceiving the other person, shame on them.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you don't want that man or that woman,
you need to communicate.
You need to let them know.
Yeah.
Because then, if you communicate that, I know you're like, oh, this is the things we hear, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you will gain so much respect out of that person just communicating that. And you don't even know how much you can get out of that just being truthful. And not half truth. I mean, truthful.
That's true. I will say, yeah, that is true. Because I know I have... I feel like I am exposing a lot of myself.
And it's fine.
I am very private about my love life. People really know, well, behind the scenes, like, you would know, but people don't know. Not even my family like that. But
it's okay, because this is what people actually go through, and a lot of them are too shy or just don't want to be exposed in that kind of way. And so we're speaking to a lot of that mass of people that want to be able to be heard, but they can't because of different reasons behind that. However, knowing here in T&G Podcast that we're gonna disclose the raw truth.
Yes.
I apologize if it hurts anyone's feelings or anything like that, but this is what people go through daily in their life, at least when it comes to this new era of dating.
That's true. I feel like, and I say this all the time, and I'm not alone, but I feel like the dating world is ghetto. It's very ghetto.
What do you mean by ghetto?
It's ghetto. Like, it's like, ooh.
That's funny.
It's just ghetto. I don't know what else to say.
What would be a definition for you, at least for you, the ghetto word? Like, what would you
people there's no chivalry in general, and I think, like, I feel like, I'm not saying that there has to be roles in a relationship. That doesn't matter what gender you are, but there's just maybe like you said, like we kind of do come from a little bit of that traditional kind of thing, and like you don't see a lot of things. You don't see people like open up a door for people, and that could be whether you're in a heterosexual relationship or you're in a same-sex relationship. There still could be some chivalry, somebody opening up a door for somebody, just doing different things. Like you don't even see that, even though like with the kids, even with their parents, like you don't even see kids doing stuff for like their moms, like maybe it's a male walking on the outside of the sidewalk, or opening up the door for their mom, just different things, or maybe even let's say the daughter's sometimes preparing food, serving their dad, I don't know, like whatever.
And once again, we're speaking on a traditional way. Once again, he did say that it was in a traditional form. I understand that a lot of people are sitting there and saying, well, I don't want my kids to be accustomed to this society norms. And I understand that, because I also don't want my child to be born in certain traditional roles. However, there's always that fine line of like what is too much. There always have to be that, respect. And I know a lot of people are going to probably say like, well, how is my son not being respectful and this and that? I understand that. But once again, you need to understand the person who you're dating, what they consider to be respectful or not. And a lot of people get so consumed of what they were raised with without actually taking accountability of the person who they're dating. And this is why a lot of the relationships end up not being successful, because one of them doesn't want to compromise or doesn't even want to do any of the work, but they expect the other person to do everything. That's where the problems really start coming in. And of course the communication is always there, like the problem with that.
That's a big one, communication.
Exactly.
That's a big one, because I'm learning that I'm learning that a lot of people, even including myself at times, we just assume what the other person, we assume that they know what we're thinking.
Exactly.
And that causes frustration too, especially in the dating scene, I guess you could say. But some people, they're not even willing to even like, how can you say, like
even say the basic. And I understand that.
It's like, I will even go out and ask to try to like, understand, okay, what is that you want and you need and stuff like that. But they don't even know how to like even take on somebody even wanting and inquiring about what it is that, considering them in a way.
Yeah, well, you also have to take in consideration other factors. Like a lot of them have childhood trauma. They got into a relationship which basically kind of distorted their way of thinking and seeing relationship in a manner that they didn't used to think, because someone damaged them. However, with that being said too, it's like a lot of people might still seem as therapy still a taboo, but honestly, at least speaking to someone that you truly trust and actually have some kind of common sense. I know everyone has common sense, but some people could literally rail you to the wrong path without actually taking you to the right path. And what I mean by that is they could see you happy and you have a good woman, but they might not be happy. They might not be with a good man or a woman, so they might not want you to be that, because once again, misery loves misery. Hurt people hurt people. And that's the thing that we have to take in consideration as well. It's like, people with trauma, that's the reason they have trouble communicating. They ask for advice for the wrong side of people or the wrong people, where in the end it's like we need to get someone sometimes who is not biased, who doesn't really know us, because they don't have a background, discernment or a background like information about us that they're gonna base it on that. Who we're not like, especially when we're trying to change. If their advices might be based on the background that we come from, when that's not what we really want to do. We want to be someone different, but we can't be someone different if we keep associating ourselves with the same people that have a view on who we were and not who we want to be.
That's true. And then also relationships evolve too. And that's another thing that you're saying, not where we're not where we were.
Yeah, unless the person who you're dealing with is stuck in their ways. But once again, love could always conquer that. I know I'm a big softie for that, but I do believe love conquers everything. And I believe the person that really truly loves you will do their
Yeah.
best to change for you. Not completely, also, because people take advantage of that. Like, oh, he loves me, he's changing, and they do the utmost. And what happened? Then the person starts creating resentment towards them.
Yeah.
And now they see the other person who comes around. It's like, okay, well, this person might do me the same way. Now I'm gonna act in a different way. When what happened? They fumble the person. When they thinking they're gonna get the same version, and they're trying to see, oh, this person is different, but they're so stuck on what happened to them that they end up ruining that person.
That's true. That is true.
You know, they make a green flag person into a red flag because of their hurt from their past. And a lot of people say, well, how are they doing that? Like, they're not making you pay for the broken place. Definitely they are. Especially if they're not willing to see that you are a different person and you have a skewed view of either other men or other women.
You know, here's a good question. This is random. Would you ever date an ex?
I have.
You have?
I have.
Okay. Okay, tell me how that experience was, and then now being who you are now, would you do that again in present time?
Well, present time, I won't do that because, of course, of everything that I've been exposed to and what I have learned, of course. But if you will tell my 20-year-old younger self, I would probably be like, okay, I'll give it a try because once again, like, you know, it was probably a misunderstanding or something like that. But one thing I would say to my younger self, being this age now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, don't do that. Because there is a high possibility or a medium possibility that that person could change, but it will take years. It won't take a few weeks. It won't take a few days, even not a few months.
They may not even change.
Or even change at all. But once again, like, we always have to give them that benefit of the doubt, to give them the opportunity, because now you went back and it's like, okay, let me give it a try. But neither one of you want to fix that, because once again, when you go back to your ex, you're coming in already with baggage of that relationship when you left it. So even if you try to see it different, you're always going to hold back. True. And other people's like, no, people could change. People will never. No. And that's one thing I would tell my 20-year-old now. It's like, don't go back to your ex. Because even if you love your ex, that person is not ready to handle the level that you are. Like, once again, a person who is, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but a person who is not husband or wife material won't be able to give the same treatment to the person they're dating who is a wife or husband material.
Now, what if some of those people don't want marriage? Because that's a new thing too. And I think because, unfortunately, that, you know, well, I mean, it's obvious that the divorce rate it's very high. And a lot of times, a lot of people do come from homes that the parents were never married, so they didn't really have that representation of marriage. And then some people just don't want the hassle. I mean, they see it, you know, I mean, you could...
Once again, they will have to find someone that has the same views. But you cannot make someone change their views just because you don't want that or because you want that. No, you have to get someone that has the same view, or at least is willing to compromise. But if that person is stubborn and doesn't want to compromise for any reason, at that point, I mean, I hate to say it, but see, that's like, it's not gonna work. And other people will be like, how can you say that? Yeah, through years they could change. I'm like, no, it's the same thing. It's like, you can be with a man for 10 years and you're expecting him to marry you, and you went in with that relationship saying, oh, I will make him change. No, you won't be able to make him change. There's always that possibility, but it's always that like percentage that could, but average, no. I mean, once again, this is just our opinion. It's not based on any statistics or anything like that.
I won't take back an ex.
You wouldn't? Why?
I never have and never will.
Oh my God, what's the reason behind it?
Because they're an ex for a reason.
What if it was the right person at the wrong time? So,
okay. I could see that point. But I guess I'll say this. If for something like that, it's more likely, like you said, wrong time. But as long as if it ended not like chaotic, or there was more positive than just like normal, regular relationship type of things, maybe. Maybe, but no, I won't, because I will then, like, I don't know. I mean, people can change, but then, like, I don't know. Sometimes some people slip back to their old ways.
Yeah, they do.
Because of familiarity. I'm just like, this is why it didn't work out.
Yeah, but also, let's say you come together with your ex, right? And
we could be friends, but not. Mm-mm.
But let's just give an example, right? They're like, hey, I want you back. You give them that chance, right? And they're doing the utmost to show you, baby, I am very sorry what I did. Like, I really apologize. I was not in the right state of mind, or I was not in the right, situation at that point. But now you're the one that's holding the grudge, and now you're making it difficult to make the relationship work.
Okay, it depends on what it is, though. If it depends on what it is. If it's anything with, like, cheating or domestic violence, stuff like that, that's absolutely no.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. If it was something, maybe they were not emotionally mature or available, maybe, but then I will have to decipher where I am at with my, patience.
Yes. And that's when you will have to decide, do I want to go into this relationship again due to ego and pride? Or, like, the new words now, get my leg back? Or just be like, I'm too grown for this. And I know that people, because of our ego and pride, will talk for us. We will want to go back just once again, get our leg back. But at the same time, it's like, there's such thing as karma. A lot of people don't believe in that, but yeah, what you do to another person, you will get it 10 times worse with the other person. Or you might start seeing certain things in your materialistic world start disappearing because you were working on your pride and ego instead of looking at someone that was actually trying to be very repentful for what they did to you, whatever the situation is. And now
I get that. I get that. I mean, I guess, okay, I'll say this. I wouldn't necessarily go back to be like a full-on relationship, but, like, say, like, we're both single, having some fun, maybe, like, casually dating, but I probably still wouldn't, unless, like, if we were casually dating before, then who knows, maybe that. But if it was something where we've had that conversation, which I think a lot of people don't realize.
Sorry.
You have to, I think people forget about having a conversation or communicating, like, where you and this person is, and people, that's how they get caught up in situationships, because it's like, well, did you have the communication that you wanted to be even committed at this time too? Or, like, yeah, we're dating, but, like, we're not together, but I don't want you with somebody else, or, like.
And once again, that's the ego talking now. They're possessive without actually letting you walk. They could go have their fun, but it's like, how dare you do that?
Yeah.
And once again, that's the ego talking now. Remember what I said is, like, you have to make sure that you're not going back to that person due to ego or pride. You have to make sure that you're going due to that you really want to make this work and allow everything that was in the past to just, get over it, not get over it, but, like, just be able to work with that. But unfortunately, as we've seen, not because of statistics or anything like that, but what we've seen in our personal life, it never ends up working because the person always ends up reminding themselves of what that person did and not really truly letting go of that pain and now making the other person suffer. In the end, the other person is like, why am I even trying? I'm really trying to show you that I'm changing, that I changed. And they did a whole 180, and the other person is just too hurt at that point. It's like, shame on you now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, that's why you can still just be friends.
Yeah, but can you really be friends with the next? I can't.
I can.
I can't.
I can.
I can't because I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I
can't. Yeah, I won't.
I can. I actually, like, I am pretty cordial with some people. Like, well, let me say this. I don't have many exes. Now, I date. But that doesn't necessarily mean you've gotten that title of an ex.
Yes, exactly.
So I'll say that. But even then, like, I can be cordial. I wouldn't. Okay, let me say this. Maybe I won't say friend, maybe we'll say acquaintance or associates.
Yeah.
But maybe not friend, because I would also want to respect the boundaries of the other party having a new person in their life. And you know, because all the time it might not even be the issue between you and the ex, it's the new person feeling jealous.
Yes, of course.
But I can
but that you like, so that's two different things. Like dating, you could be friends at that point, then I could, but once I'm in a relationship, I can't be friends with my ex.
I have.
Lord, I can't. Lord.
Like, we're not friends now because of time, but yeah, I have.
In the past.
I still could be. I think because now that's just maybe the mature side of me, that when a relationship ends with me, I do like to, you know, I don't like to end things on a bad term, even if things were whatever, how they got. I do like to have a mature conversation, whether we're both, you know, mature enough to receive, you know, each other's feelings. At least we felt heard. And maybe that stems from because one of my, I guess you could say, longest relationships that I had, one thing that we did after we kind of broke up, we did have we had a conversation. And kind of like seeing like where things went left. Mm-hmm. And we told each other, you know, okay, maybe right now it's not the time for us to see each other, you know, even on a friend's basis. But if we see each other like down the road, we could be friends.
Well, and that once again, it's not really a black or white kind of like dilemma or like, you know, topic. It's very depends on and each situation.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
You know what I mean? But in my situation, it's like I have broken up with people, and for some reason everything is okay. We spoke about it, we were adult about it, but there was always here and there they will throw their jab, like, oh, you remember you did this and that, and I'm like, wait, well, I thought, yeah. And at that point it's like, wait, I thought we left that when we spoke about it, mm-hmm. and now we're cool. Now you're bringing this up, like, why are you even bringing this topic back?
Do you think it could be because you were the one that ended it and they didn't?
I mean, and at that point it was like, okay, let's say maybe that could be a possibility, but let's just give an example. I also seen other people where the men have broken up with the woman, mm-hmm. and for some reason still the man feeling resentful about it, and you're like, wait, well, you just left me, and they're like, how dare you leave me when even though I told you leave. And it's like, why are you even being possessive when you first didn't even want me? It was because, why? Because of your ego? Because you know that you can have them there as an option whenever you want to come around, even as a friend to talk to. What are you doing? You're literally sucking their energy out of them to fulfill your own energy, because probably you're not getting the same kind of energy from other people. So you need that person to heal you, or like use as a bag in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it really depends on every situation. You know?
It does. Oh, I think the only one though, we'll save that for another one.
Okay.
Yeah. because that can go down a rabbit hole.
It could.
Yeah. Where I was gonna go.
Remember, we kind of did a lot of sidetracking, but what was the reason of this topic today? It was like dealing with men who are ballerinas and why we started that. You know, and the whole reason is, I mean, there's nothing wrong to be in your soft era, mm-hmm. to be in your feminine energy, and that's no offense to men that like, oh, mm-hmm. no, you have to have a good balance between your masculine and feminine energy. There's nothing wrong with that, but now we're having a lot of men, they're like, why should I even try? Why this? Why that? And it's like, why not?
Well, okay, let's just say, to that point, do you think it's because where society has become now, you know, women are, you know, becoming, you know, I don't...
Women and men are more accessible way.
But also what I'm saying, like, let's say, you know, women are now becoming more independent and working and stuff like that, where a lot of men, they're not used to it, but also, like, in a lot of cases nowadays, too, you know, we're starting to see in certain fields and industries, women are getting more accessibility for higher pay or being more bosses in ways where men might feel a little bit more or less adequate. But then also, let's face it, some of you women are out there wanting to be sugar mamas, you know?
Yes, because once again, it's like, I'll get my fix, go your merry way.
But then it's like, okay, I guess the way it's trying to say is because it's like, there's nothing wrong with, a female, paying for things for her man and stuff like that. And I can get where women can get frustrated with that. But then it's kind of like, if you flip it around, like, okay, yeah, but the man's supposed to do that. Yeah, we get it. That's how society raised it. And then, like Tara's point earlier, how, like, it's changed. And so,
but the thing is, a lot of people are forgetting this, though. Reciprocation.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
That's okay.
If one is doing something, the other one is getting something, And once again, the big word is reciprocation. And a lot of people are forgetting to do that. It's all about give me.
Yeah.
And when it's time to put on the other person that's been getting all of, giving all of that attention, affection, whatever it is, finance. No, it's too much. I can't handle this. But yet you could handle when they were giving you everything. No.
Gotcha.
And that's my problem right now with that. And that's the reason I feel like a lot of these men are being ballerina. And I mean by ballerina is like not to be saying the other word. It's just
she's
like
saying bitch.
basically, it's like, okay, it's okay to be, wanting to also get your flowers, but don't forget that you are the man in the end, or the strong person, because once again, we're not basing it on gender, because you could be a woman too, and you can be very like strong, for what you are and what you're bringing and what you're doing. But at the same time, it's like, don't forget to reciprocate that energy back to that person who's giving you, because that's how a lot of problems start, because there's no reciprocation, and they just expect people to give them everything and feel entitled to that person, when that person eventually is going to get depleted, and they're going to be like, why am I even here? Why am I even doing this?
That's a good point.
I mean, there may be other people that could be saying, well, no, a lot of people, they know that the person is not available, then why are you there if you're looking for someone available?
I think to that point, like you're saying, I think people are ignoring the signs there, or the red flags for what they are expecting out of the other person.
No, of course. Like, I've been in places where I go in, tell them the truth, like, this is what I'm looking. They try to match me because they don't want me to, like, leave, or they want to gain me in some ways. But then once they finally get me, and I'm finally in with what they're doing and who they are, they start pushing back. And then now we develop that push and pull kind of energy, the hot and cold. But at the same time, it's like, why couldn't you be truthful? You probably would have had a better chance for me to make my own decision, and you would have got better, better outcomes out of me if you would have just been like, this is what I want, instead of faking it until you make it.
I agree. I like that, because I agree with that all the time. Give me the option to choose whether I want to entertain this or not.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people take that opportunity out of that person.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what
that
I mean?
is true.
And then in the end, what happens? The person who tried to play games end up falling in love with you.
Yeah, you're not.
And then they get mad at you when you're like, I told you what I wanted.
Exactly.
You cannot be mad at me because you can give me what I'm looking for, but now you're in love with me. The audacity of you to blame that on me. And it's just, and then this is not based on sex. This is based on the human persona, the persona who you're dealing with at that point. It's like, really, like, come on, if you're a real one, you wouldn't care what the person thinks. You will give them that option. It's like, okay, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, you either take it or leave it. And if they don't want to take it, no feelings are involved. Thank you for meeting us. And at that point, you could say we could be friends. But if you know that you will definitely fall like deep for this person or start developing feelings for that person, then do yourself a favor. Don't mess with that person, not even as a friend. Walk away.
Yeah. Stop creating projects.
The reason he says that because I love a good project.
I'm not even talking about
well,
you.
I guess if the shoe fit, wear it. And I guess I'm wearing it because I do love myself a good project. And then there's nothing wrong because I also been in a project before, you know, and I was given a good opportunity from, you know, good people that were there. But, you know, but when I try to go in there as a woman, it's not the same energy as a man doing that with a woman. I'm sorry. I mean, and once again, I'm not basing it on sex. This is just me talking as a heterosexual woman.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
So, yeah.
So,
well, that was today's topic.
yes. And for all you men out there listening, don't be a ballerina for her.
Once again, we're talking in a heterosexual way because I am a heterosexual woman, so that's why he's saying that. But if you're not in a heterosexual relationship, whoever carries the masculine energy, please do not be a ballerina.
Yeah, regardless. It doesn't matter what.
Well, what kind of sexes you were born with, just if you're carrying the masculine energy, don't be...
It doesn't even have to be masculine energy. Just don't be a punk in general.
There we go. A coward.
Yeah, a coward.
And I know those words are very masculine, but we're not speaking just to the man. We're speaking to also women.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah,
again.
because...
Yes, and that's where a lot of people say, how dare they? But it's not... We're not naming any sexes here. We're basically just talking about the persona who they are presenting themselves to be. But yeah, so basically today, that was our topic today. You know, let us know what you think about the topic we spoke about today, and we might get back to you and respond and interact with you. So so
all right. So and that concludes our show today.
Yes, and.
I am Richard with the T.
And I am Elsa with the G.
And until next time,
we will see you.
Bye.
Bye.